It's wild how this hasn't been a bigger conversation yet. But the San Francisco 49ers have found themselves in a surprisingly strong spot when it comes to their wide receiver cores heading into the new season. Just a few days ago, news dropped that initially caught many fans off guard. And today I came across another report that reinforces this idea. The 49ers might actually have one of the best receiver groups in the league, despite losing a key piece last offseason. This really flips the script on what a lot of people thought was going to be a major setback. Let's rewind a bit. Everyone was buzzing about Deebo Samuel leaving, and it's easy to see why. He's been such a vital weapon for San Francisco, racking up impressive stats over the years and making big plays both on the ground and through the air. But if we dig deeper, there's a growing consensus that he might have already passed his peak performance years. That doesn't mean he wasn't valuable. He absolutely was, but it does add perspective on why his departure, while significant, might not be as crippling as some feared. Last season's wide receiver group had its issues, no doubt. Brandon Ayuk struggled with injuries and inconsistency, and Jawan Jennings had a solid year but never quite broke free from tight coverage the way elite receivers do. The 49ers had real trouble creating separation, which is a big deal when you're trying to establish a dynamic passing attack. Defenses could basically lock down routes because there wasn't enough quickness or space being generated to stretch the field effectively. Another factor was George Kittle. Yes, he's technically a tight end, not a wide receiver, but his role in San Francisco's passing game last year was enormous. When you think about the 49ers offense, you can't ignore how crucial Kittle is as a versatile receiving threat who also blocks and influences defensive schemes. Without him fully healthy, and with Christian McCaffrey sidelined for a good part of the season due to injuries, the offense lacks some of the multidimensional firepower it normally boasts. McCaffrey's absence particularly hurt the running and passing game balance. He's not just a running back. He's one of the best pass-catching backs in the NFL. When he's healthy, he forces defenses to respect both his ability to run and catch, which naturally opens up more opportunities for the wide receivers. But last season, without that dual threat, opponents could key in on the receivers and tighten coverage even more, adding to the challenges. The 49ers didn't bring in a veteran wideout to fill Deebo Samuel's spot after his departure. Instead, they opted to trust younger players stepping up into larger roles. That can be risky, especially when you consider how integral Samuel was to their offense. There's a lot of speculation about when he'll return from injury, with timelines ranging from early to mid-season, but the reality is no one knows for sure yet. That uncertainty could have easily cast a shadow over the receiving core's outlook. Then, out of nowhere, comes a ranking from a respected analyst placing the 49ers wide receiver group in the top 5 heading into the new season. That's a bold statement given the recent roster changes and injuries. On paper, the group looks like a mystery because of Ayuk's recovery from serious knee injuries and McCaffrey's limited availability last year, but the data and expert analysis suggests there's still something special brewing in San Francisco. The 49ers made some savvy moves this offseason, trading Samuel to Washington for a draft pick, signing Demarcus Robinson, and keeping Ross Dwelley and Luke Friel, players who may not be household names, but offer depth and versatility. They did lose Eric Saubert and Chris Conley, but overall, the core group remains intact and capable. When you look back at Samuel's production, it's clear how remarkable he was over his 6 years with the team. He caught over 300 passes for nearly 5,000 yards and scored more than 40 touchdowns, including rushing scores. His ability to gain nearly 6 yards every time he touched the ball is almost unheard of consistency, so replacing him is no small task. But the 49ers passing attack doesn't rely solely on one player anymore. Trevor Siekema, an analyst from Pro Football Focus, ranked the 49ers receiving cores 5th in the entire league. Only teams like the Lions, Bengals, Buccaneers, and Eagles scored higher. This ranking takes into account not just raw talent, but also health projections, offseason moves, and overall team dynamics. It acknowledges that while there are questions, there's also significant potential. Part of that potential lies in Christian McCaffrey's skill set. He has been graded at an elite level by PFF multiple times over his career, showing he's not only a workhorse, but also a reliable and dynamic receiver out of the backfield. If he can stay healthy and regain full form, it gives the 49ers a huge advantage. Pair that with George Kittle, who ranked second among tight ends in PFF receiving grades last season. and you have a receiving duo that can create matchup nightmares for defenses. Then there's Jauan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall, both expected to have big roles this year. The group might not have the star power of Samuel, but it's deep, versatile, and full of players who bring different skills to the table. That diversity in weapons can make the offense unpredictable and harder to defend. Of course, some critics point out that teams like the Vikings, Dolphins, Rams, Bears, and Texans might leapfrog the 49ers if their young players develop as hoped. On paper, those teams have arguments, but when you break down the individual threats and overall offensive schemes, the 49ers still hold their own. It's not just about one or two players, it's about the system and how these pieces fit together. Another analyst, Mina Kimes from ESPN, placed San Francisco's offense 8th in the league for the upcoming season, despite a disappointing finish last year plagued by injuries. That alone speaks volumes about the underlying talent and coaching on that roster. Even with a string of setbacks, the 49ers managed to stay in the top 10 in key metrics like DVOA, EPA, and success rate. One eye-opening stat from last year was how explosive their offense remained. They ranked 3rd in the percentage of plays, gaining over 10 yards, showing that when they connected, the plays were often big ones. George Kittle's impact was massive. He led all pass catchers in yards per target and had more than a quarter of his receptions go for 20 or more yards. That's the kind of production that can shift games instantly. What makes the 49ers offense exciting is the blend of proven veterans and emerging talents. Assuming McCaffrey, Kittle, and Ayuk all return healthy and in rhythm with the quarterback, the offense could easily rebound to its top-tier form from past seasons. That expectation is realistic given their past performances and the coaching staff's ability to maximize player strengths. Meanwhile, younger players like Jacob Cowing could see increased involvement, adding fresh energy and new dimensions to the passing game. Ricky Pearsall is likely to carry a heavier load too, showing the coaching staff's trust in their growth. In the big picture, the 49ers are just a few weeks away from training camp, where all these pieces will come together and the team's true potential will start to reveal itself, with rookies arriving and veterans returning. The energy and anticipation are building rapidly. The opportunity is there for San Francisco to solidify itself as a top offense once again. The transition from skepticism to excitement is natural given how the offseason unfolded, but the evidence suggests that the 49ers are in a solid position, ready to challenge the league's best. The blend of strategic roster moves, impressive underlying stats, and the sheer talent still on the roster makes for a compelling narrative as the new season approaches. As we move closer to training camp, the excitement around the 49ers offense only grows stronger, and rightfully so. The team's ability to overcome injuries and personnel changes last season was impressive, but the real test will be how they perform when everyone is healthy and firing on all cylinders. The combination of a fully recovered Brandon Ayuk, a motivated Jauan Jennings, and the presence of George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey creates a dynamic mix that could confuse and overpower defenses week after week. One of the biggest questions on everyone's mind is just how quickly the receivers will gel with the quarterback. Timing and chemistry are everything in the NFL, especially for a team like the 49ers that relies heavily on timing, routes, and creative offensive schemes. Kyle Shanahan's playbook is famously complex, designed to exploit mismatches and get the ball into the hands of playmakers in space. Having receivers who understand their roles and can execute with precision is key, and there's reason to believe this group has the potential to do just that. Demarcus Robinson's signing is an intriguing piece of the puzzle, though not a superstar. Robinson brings veteran savvy and reliable hands to the table. He's the kind of player who can step up in crucial moments and provide a dependable target when the defense tightens coverage elsewhere. His presence might not dominate headlines, but it adds depth and consistency, which are invaluable over a long, grueling NFL season. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. A persistent buzz is circulating around the NFL, suggesting a potentially earth-shattering move that could redefine the NFC landscape. Rumors are intensifying that star running back Derrick Henry might be on the verge of joining the San Francisco 49ers, a possibility that has the league's insiders and fan bases abuzz. The notion of King Henry donning the red and gold has long been a dream for many 49ers faithful, and it seems that dream might be closer to reality than ever before. while no official confirmation or even credible leaks have emerged from either camp. The sheer volume of speculative chatter is hard to ignore. The 49ers, known for their potent ground game, could become virtually unstoppable with a player of Henry's caliber in their backfield. Imagine the already dominant rushing attack, spearheaded by Kyle Shanahan's scheme, adding a physical force like Henry. The prospect of him running behind San Francisco's stout offensive line is enough to send shivers down the spines of opposing defensive coordinators. This wouldn't just be an upgrade, it would be a paradigm shift, creating a truly terrifying offensive identity that would be nearly impossible to contain. While currently with the Ravens, the NFL is a business of possibilities, and a trade or a future free agency move could always materialize. The whispers indicate that both sides might see a mutual benefit in such a partnership. For Henry, it could offer a clearer path to a Super Bowl, aligning with a team perennially in contention. For the 49ers, it's the missing piece to solidify their championship aspiration, adding an unparalleled dimension to their already formidable offense. Keep an eye on this developing story. The ground may soon be shaking in San Francisco. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.